Flickering lights. A hallway that stretches into shadow. A hiss of steam. You're alone and you're afraid. Not because something's attacked you, but because the environment itself feels wrong. That feeling didn't start with Dead Space in 2008. It comes from a long tradition in sci-fi horror. From Alien to Event Horizon, some worlds were built to scare you. This video is about Dead Space, but more importantly, it's about what inspired it. Where did this atmosphere come from, and why does it still work today? Dead Space was shaped by some of the best sci-fi horror ever made, and it embraces those roots. It's not terrifying just because of the monsters or gore, but because of how everything in the environment is designed to make you feel unsafe. The USG Ishimura's world design borrows directly from Alien Event Horizon in real-world industrial spaces. This video explores how those inspirations shaped Dead Space and why that lineage matters. Ridley Scott's Alien from 1979 redefined sci-fi horror with the idea of a blue-collar spaceship. The Nostromo wasn't sleek or futuristic, it was a workhorse, a tugboat in space. Grimy, loud, full of steam, blinking lights and metal corridors. That style, retro-futuristic industrial lived-in, became the foundation of Dead Space's visual design. The Ishimura is the Nostromo's spiritual cousin. It's not a place you explore, it's a place you survive. Ridley Scott once said, "I wanted the Nostromo to feel like a real working ship, not a shiny futuristic set." Production designer Michael Seymour added, "We designed the ship to be industrial, mechanical and functional, with a lived-in, gritty feel." And just like in Alien, the threat isn't just the creature, it's the space itself. The necromorphs don't follow set paths. They use the ship's ventilation system, vent shafts above, behind, walls, and the deck, so they can pop up at any moment. Brett Robbins, creative director of Dead Space, explained that the system was deliberate. They prototyped vent-heavy rooms that makes you never feel safe. That's the point. It's a system designed around paranoia. Every vent is a possible threat. It makes you scan every wall, every ceiling. It turns the Ishimura into a kind of hunting ground, and you're the one being hunted. This connects directly back to Alien, where the xenomorph used air ducts to move invisibly through the ship.
Dallas?
In both cases, the creature is unseen but always present. That unpredictability isn't just a gameplay trick, it's psychological. Event Horizon from 1997 brought a different kind of fear to sci-fi. Gothic horror in space. The ship in that film wasn't just malfunctioning, it felt haunted. Spinning gravity drives, vault-like airlocks and brutalist corridors made the ship feel aggressive and hostile. Director Paul W.S. Anderson said, "We wanted the ship to be like a church in hell, a place where the architecture itself feels oppressive and full of dark secrets." Production designer Anthony Pratt described it as industrial and brutalist, combining sharp angles and heavy metal to create an environment that feels both futuristic and terrifyingly claustrophobic. Dead Space builds directly on that style. The Ishimura's centrifuge chambers, medical decks, echoing corridors all reflect the same brutalist, menacing design. The fear in Dead Space works because it feels grounded. The developers looked to submarines, oil rigs, and cargo ships, places where space is tight, systems are complex, and failure is deadly. That influence is clear in how the ship is laid out. Narrow corridors, exposed pipes, loud machinery, and barely enough room to breathe. It taps into real-world anxieties, mechanical failure, isolation, and pressure. When a valve groans or a door malfunctions, it doesn't just sound scary. It sounds like something is going wrong, like a machine is breaking down. In space, when machines fail, people die. That simple, practical fear gives Dead Space its tension. Like Alien, Dead Space doesn't imagine a clean digital future. This is called retro-futurism, future tech imagined in the past. In the game, you see CRT-style holograms, static field monitors, mechanical switches, and analog UI elements. Even Isaac's inventory and health bar are part of the world, not separated menus, but visible on his suit. This design choice reinforces the feeling that nothing is reliable. Systems flicker, screens glitch, tools feel like they might break at any moment. And because the tech feels real, the danger feels real too. Dead Space's sound design feels directly inspired by Alien and Event Horizon. You hear dripping pipes, clanking metal, and machinery starting up or breaking down. There is almost no music, just ambient noise. That noise is intentional. Whispers, distant bangs, vents rattling above or behind you. You never know if something's about to attack or if the ship is just failing. For instance, the sudden sharp clang of a distant pipe, or the almost imperceptible whisper that seems to come from just behind you, forces your brain to fill in the terrifying blanks, making the silence itself a weapon. It's one of the most effective parts of the game. So layered and carefully done that it honestly deserves a dedicated video of its own. But for now, the important part is how that sound supports the horror. Just like in the film that inspired it, it's not only about what you hear, it's about what your brain imagines. The silence in Dead Space isn't comforting, it's full of tension. This isn't just background noise, it's part of the threat. The fear in Dead Space isn't just about the physical environment or mechanical failure. It delves into something far more insidious, a spiritual and existential dread. This is where the influence of films like Event Horizon, with its descent into cosmic madness and the corruption of the human form, truly resonates, amplified by Dead Space's unique take on religious fanaticism and body horror. The Church of Unitology are one of the antagonists in the Dead Space universe. They are a doomsday cult that believe the forces turning humans into necromorphs is necessary to unify the human race. That belief system adds a new layer to the horror. The enemies you fight aren't just creatures, they are converted followers, people who embraced this outcome. The people turned weren't just killed, but twisted and defiled. Necromorphs aren't just enemies, they're human corpses reanimated and reshaped into weapons. This echoes Event Horizon. In the movie, the ship travels by using a black hole to create a wormhole. But instead of Proxima Centauri, the wormhole led to an alternate dimension, a dimension of pure chaos, pure evil, where the crew is physically and psychologically torn apart. Event Horizon's most infamous scenes turn gore into a form of storytelling. Both game and movie use body horror and gore to represent more than violence. Event Horizon is the loss of sanity. In Dead Space, it's the loss of humanity. The result is the same, a deep, visceral discomfort. Not just fear of death, but fear of what happens to you after. Dead Space is scary because it understands what makes earlier sci-fi horror work, and because it builds on those ideas with confidence. From the dirty, industrial hallways of the Nostromo to the massive, brutalist rooms of the Event Horizon, the Ishimura carries that legacy. It looks and feels like a place built to work, not to live. Its fear is mechanical, environmental, and psychological. The retro-futuristic tech doesn't just look cool, it looks like it's about to fail. The sound design doesn't just create mood, it keeps you alert, making even silence a source of dread. The influence of unitology, twisting humanity into monstrous forms, adds a profound layer of spiritual and psychological horror, proving that Dead Space doesn't just scare you, it fundamentally challenges your sense of self and reality. In the end, Dead Space isn't just a horror game. It's a sci-fi world built from parts we've seen and appreciated before, assembled in a way that still feels sharp and innovative. It still feels tense, it works, it still makes you paranoid. At Volcarion Station, we don't just play sci-fi, we break down what builds it. We go down the gravity well into the worlds that shape the stories we love. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more video essays and gameplays. Welcome aboard!